Uh, I do feel like I say this a lot, but I just want to go ahead and reiterate this. I do have depression. It's really, really, really bad, and because of that, my whole life I was basically told, "Oh, you have I was basically told for as long as I can remember, you think negatively, you're pessimistic, you're a Debbie Downer, all this other stuff." And the thing is that like a lot of those folks who actually do say that, and a lot of folks who actually did talk like that about me to me, they didn't have malice in their heart when they said it. They just wanted me to feel better. You know what I'm saying? And the whole concept was that maybe if you thought a little positively, paid attention to the good things that were happening, and maybe just sort of like stopped and smelled the roses, maybe you would feel a lot better. My whole thing is that like I kind of, but I want to just, I feel like, I personally feel like I am, in fact, very positive. I feel like I am quite positive, honestly. But I do feel like we kind of have a really, really, really sort of like static, singular. Just we. I feel like when we think of positivity, we think of just one thing. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, and I feel like positivity, like a lot of other things, in life, is very vast. It's much bigger and more complicated than like we give it credit for. Like a lot of people when they address positivity, sometimes it sort of rallies into this idea of just sort of being delusionally blissful about certain things. And I don't want to be delusionally blissful about things. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to look at the world around me and see that it's in really, really, really bad shape and just be like, well, at least I'm still living, and that makes everything better. I can't do that. You see what I'm saying? But like I like to think that my positivity, it goes into different aspects of like first, because I can't stress this enough. I have depression. It's really bad, and it gets worse every year. Like every day for like the past almost 20 or so years of my life, I have contemplated the obvious contemplation. And the fact that I'm still here, I like to think that that is a testament to my positivity. Granted, I'm a little bit on the sour side, or from what I'm told, but I don't think it's but it's just because of the fact that it's like going, I 100% believe that everything has the potential to be better if we actually just apply just basic, simple stuff to certain things. Like for example, like how do you fix the economy? Make everything cheaper. Make stuff affordable to poor people. If you make stuff affordable to poor people, the economy gets better because poor people will be able to not be poor anymore. It's like more money. It's like more money saved equals more money spent. You know, it's basic, simple concepts. You know what I'm saying? Some people are gonna be like, nah, actually, value and worth, and if we start making stuff cheaper, then like that's gonna make the poor people lazy, and you already think poor people are lazy. Whatever. I don't want to talk about politics, but I might end up. Obviously, you know me. I'm gonna end up going into it eventually. But my whole concept is that like I truly do believe that like if we actually get introduced to different ways to approach problems, things will get better. And that's my optimism. You know what I'm saying? I do have optimism. I do have beliefs that things will get better. I do have positive thoughts. It's just I don't act on those positive thoughts because a lot of them are just very much a lot of my positive thoughts other people probably wouldn't consider to be positive thoughts. Like one of my positive thoughts is at least I don't have children, right? So it's like no matter what bad things happen to me, and they do regularly, the first thing that goes on in my head is at least I'm going through this stuff by myself, and I'm not bringing my kids into it. My kid is like if I lose money, it won't be food being taken away from my kid's mouth. You see what I'm saying? It's like if something bad happens to me, my kid won't have to deal with it as well. That's one way. That's one of the positive thoughts that I have. Another positive thought that I have, and at least I'm not a right winger, right? Like because like I said, I grew up in the South. I'm surrounded by conservatives. I'm currently in the South. I'm surrounded by conservatives. I know what it means to like a conservative is basically a person with good intentions, but only to people that they want to have those good intentions for. You know what I'm saying? So it's like as long as I'm not a right winger, so that means that like I'm not bigoted, I'm not a sociopath, I'm not like trying to combine two opposite concepts together to make something happen. I'm not trying to, so that's another thing about me, you know what I'm saying? So that's another thought I have is like at least I don't have kids and at least I'm not in the right wing. Another positive thought that I do have is ultimately, and just like I say, once again, a lot of stuff that I consider to be positive thoughts probably won't be considered positive thoughts for other people. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, at least I'm not, at least I didn't get Swiss cheese by a cop yet. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like these are these are my positive thoughts. These are the thoughts that kind of keep me, keep me okay, because I'm always having thoughts about, what would happen if I try to, or what would happen if I try to play hopscotch in open traffic. I always have these thoughts because depression, but because I don't act on them, I feel like that is me in the slightest bit trying to be positive, because it means that I have enough hope for the future that I'm willing to stick around for it, because my will to live is with that being said though, I do feel like we kind of do need to like look at positivity in a different way. We need to look at positive because like there's a lot of people who are depressed and sad and angry about the way that the world is right now, and it's really easy to say, oh, all they're doing is focusing on the bad. There's good in the world too, and there is good in the world. They can acknowledge the good in the world. I can acknowledge that there is in fact good in the world. But the fact is that like it shouldn't be the good in the world and the evil in the world shouldn't be 50-50. It should be 70-30. We should have less evil in the world if we have all this good in the world. Does that make sense? I'm not saying that we should like go out and like call the evil, but what I am saying is that like we should be trying to find like there's good people in the world. You know what I'm saying? But if you try to display your goodness, you're gonna probably be met with hostility because nah, man, you got motivated. It's like you're doing something. You're about to do something bad to me. You know what I mean? Because we live in a whole world right now that is so used to cruelty and evil and badness that like it's easy to think that somebody who is not being evil and not being cruel and not being bad is going to harm you in some way. You have any idea like how that goes? You have any idea just how ridiculous that is? Think about that. Think about being so used to so much bad stuff that you can't trust good things. You see what I mean? Because people be scamming. It's wild, you know what I mean? And I really do feel like my optimism is kind of blind because I 100% believe that as long as I know that I'm trying to be a good person with no strings attached, I feel like there's going to be other people out there who are also capable of doing it. And if not, then I'll at least consider myself the coolest guy in the world for being the only one that does. So it's kind of like a win-win situation. It's like, is it's like if I try to be the good that I see if I try to be the good that I want to see in the world, then either A, I attract more people who are also equally trying to be the good that they see in the world, or B, like, I don't like, or B, I'm the coolest guy in the world for being the only one that does it. That's my perspective on it anyway. That's just how I see things. But like, yeah, when it comes to me being positive, I feel like my positivity is just different from other people's positivity because of the fact that I've undergone so much stress, so much bad stuff, and I'm still here. It just feels good to know that that's kind of like, but it's like, also we really do need to kind of like talk about the fact that like, like we shouldn't be ignoring bad stuff to maintain positivity. We should be trying to modify the bad stuff to make it good. We should be trying to do more good. You know what I mean? And we can't do more good if we're just looking at the bad and going, that's fine. You know what I mean? We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't be like, think positive, but don't be in denial. That's my thing. I'm trying my best to be positive, but I'm also not trying to be in denial. I'm not trying to deny the world around me for the sake of me trying to feel better. It's like if me feeling better means I have to ignore all the terrible stuff that's happening around me and to me, then that's not a feeling that I feel is worth having. I'm not trying to numb myself to pain if I can stop the pain or if I can at least acknowledge that I am in pain. Does that make sense? But I will say while I'm in pain, it's not raining today. If I'm in pain and it's not raining, I'm going to be like, well, no rain, all gain, or something. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying though, is that I don't think of myself as a negative person because my positivity is just different. You know? So here's to hoping that things get better. You know what I mean? I feel like if we approach, like I say, everything is more complicated than it seems. And we need to acknowledge that more often. I hope I made sense in this video. Y'all be cool out there.